Okay, it's time to talk about The Mandalorian. We'll do that right after this. Hello out there, I'm the oldest nerd, and in this episode entitled The Pirate, Chapter 21, if you're keeping track, we find a little bit more emphasis back on the Mandalorian himself. Last episode, we saw a lot of Bo-Katan, and she's certainly playing a part in this one as well. But our pirate in question is Gorian Shard. For all intents and purposes, he looks like a kale salad. I think that probably about as evil as you can look. We have him in a big Nordic-looking pirate ship, and he's sending down all kinds of interceptor ships. I think they called them blunt nose fighters, and raining terror down on Navarro. Navarro, as you recall, is where our friend High Magistrate Grief Karga had met with Mando before he went to his quest of Mandalore. Anyway, it has wreaked havoc with it, and he has sent out a distress call to the New Republic to help. And Captain Teva, who is the local law enforcement, I suppose, or as close as they get to it, goes to the Adelphi base, in which he meets with Colonel Tuttle. And Colonel Tuttle basically says, well, Navarro didn't sign the treaty pact with us, and we don't have that many people, and, it's the wrong day of the week, and excuse, not going to help them. So Teva heads back and comes upon an idea perhaps that maybe the Mandalorians could help him. And he goes to where they think their secret hideout is. It's one of those kind of things to where it's hard to keep a secret like that. And R5-D4 apparently is some kind of spy, because he's the one that triggered Teva to go to where the Mandalorians were encamped and ask for their help. Now, Din Djarin, of course, made a case for helping because, of course, Karga is his friend, and even though that he fought against the Mandalorians during the war with the Empire, he said that he's a changed fellow and has offered us land. And so with some discussion, they say, okay, and we'll go and do it. And there's great fight scenes in the air and on the ground. And of course, we know who wins. There's one person, though, one pirate that gets away, and we probably will hear from them again. And then in the meantime, as they were moving to Navarro and taking stock of what kind of land they would get for what they've done, the armorer approaches Bo-Katan, who led the attack, by the way, on the pirates at Navarro to some success, and says to her, take off your helmet. And she says, well, I'm not supposed to take off my helmet. And said, no, take off your helmet. And she does. And the armorer says that you having walked in both worlds, you are the person that can reunite our people, all the Mandalorians from the ones that fully observe the way and those who are do it in name only. And the reason that she came to this realization, not only because of the fact that Bo-Katan has actually embraced the society that they have there, but also because she's seen the mythosaur. And the armorer believed that the mythosaur was kind of a sign that Bo-Katan was the chosen one in order to reunite their people. And so she said, you should be able to associate with the others as well as with us. And even brings her out into the fuller society without her helmet on, and they all gasp. And she says, no, she has walked in both worlds, and she will be the person who is responsible for reuniting us. And what it sounds like is that she's going to be the new ruler before all is said and done. So it's likely that she won't need the dark saber, but my guess is eventually Mando will give it to her anyway. And now one thing we never knew what happened to, and I mean, it was mentioned in this episode that Moff Gideon had been or perhaps it was the last episode, that Moff Gideon had been apprehended and sent off to serve justice, whatever that might be. But Tiva, as he is on his way back to base, sees this wrecked shuttle, runs it through the database, finds it is a prison transport, and most likely that Gideon was on there and was sprung. They find a little piece of Beskar in there too, which indicates that it was some Mandalorian actually who actually did free him. So we're going to see more of Gideon. We will see more of the runaway pirate, who I think was Kane, and then we have this whole idea of building a new civilization on Navarro, and perhaps a way of moving back to Mandalore. This seems to be all in the works, if not this season, as they move ahead, because they have plans to do multiple seasons of The Mandalorian. The only one that gets the short shrift in this episode really is Grogu. He is in all the scenes, but he doesn't do anything. He doesn't say anything. He just kind of goes along. He rides with Mando whenever they're doing their aerial attack, and he's standing around while all of the people are conferring, but does not have much to say or much to do. And that's kind of showing that we're still kind of building a new world around these characters. And it's not necessary for Mando and Grogu to go from town to town anymore. At least that's what it looks like at this point. So I'd like to know what you think about it. It was a pretty good episode. The fight scenes were good. The aerial scenes were good. It's always a fun ride. So I'd like to know what you think about it. Please put it in the comments below, and subscribe if you've not done so already. And of course, if you've already subscribed, you've done all this kind of stuff, you watch the video, why not click a like button on it? We like to be liked, and we like you too, so it doesn't cost you anything, doesn't hurt anything, it can only help us. So we appreciate that if you will do that. So we'll be back with more stuff. We'll be talking also about the Bad Batch. We're talking about Picard. We're talking about Doctor Who, the retro reviews, also retro reviews on the original series of Star Trek, and more. So stay with this channel. Thank you for joining us, and don't go far.